The video starts abruptly, not with a gentle fadine, but with a jarring, almost subliminal flash of pure white light, accompanied by the sound of a camera flash and a faint, high-pitched electronic whine. Before the viewer can even register what happened, the screen cuts to black. Silence for 2 full seconds. Then, the montage begins. The cuts are rapid, disorienting, designed to create a sense of chaos and unease. The music is not a dramatic orchestra, but a low, pulsating electronic beat, like a nervous heartbeat, with a ticking clock sound layered over it. A tight shot of Jimmy Fallon's face, mid-laugh, his eyes crinkled in genuine joy. The image is warm and familiar. Hard cut to a stark, cold close-up of Donald Trump's face, completely devoid of emotion. His eyes are narrowed, his jaw is set, and he is staring directly into the camera, almost through it. The contrast is jarring. Hard cut to the iconic, colorful neon sign of The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, glowing brightly against a dark background, a symbol of fun and laughter. Hard cut to Jimmy Fallon's face again, but this time the laughter is gone. His eyes are wide, his smile has vanished, replaced by a look of pure, unadulterated shock. He looks like he has seen a ghost. Hard cut to Donald Trump leaning forward aggressively in the guest chair, his body language radiating hostility. He points a finger, not at Fallon, but just off-camera, as if addressing someone else in the studio. Hard cut to a shaky smartphone-style shot from the audience's perspective. An audience member has their phone up, but it's slightly lowered, as if they are scared to be caught filming. They are whispering urgently to the person next to them, their face a mask of disbelief. Hard cut to a shot of a glass of water on Fallon's desk, with ripples vibrating across its surface from a nearby impact. The pulsating music and ticking clock build to a crescendo, then abruptly cut to absolute, deafening silence. The screen goes black again. After a moment of pure black, the narrator's voice begins. It's not a booming, authoritative voice. It's a hushed, conspiratorial whisper, as if sharing a secret that no one is supposed to know. The Tonight Show. The name hangs in the silence for a moment. A slow, almost dreamlike shot of the empty studio. The chairs vacant, the stage bathed in a soft blue light, begins to fade in. Think about what those words mean. They mean laughter. They mean celebrity games, silly sketches, and viral moments. They mean thank you notes, lip-sync battles, and a host so famously friendly, so universally liked that he's become a human comfort blanket for millions of people every single night. The Tonight Show isn't just a program. It's a safe space. It's the 1 hour of the day where the noise of the world is supposed to fade away, replaced by harmless, uncomplicated fun. It's the last place on earth you would ever expect to see a real fight. It's a world of soft edges and easy laughter. A carefully constructed reality where conflict is a setup for a punchline and every guest is a friend. So what happens when that safe space is violated? What happens when the laughter stops, the games are forgotten, and the friendly stage becomes a battlefield? What happens when a figure who thrives on conflict enters a world that is allergic to it? A new shot begins. Ultra slow-motion footage of Donald Trump walking out from behind the curtain. The audience is on its feet, cheering, but the slow motion gives the scene a sense of dread. Jimmy Fallon is clapping, but as the camera pushes in on his face, we can see a flicker of nervousness in his eyes, a subtle tension in his smile that wasn't there for his other guests. Tonight, we are not just telling a story. We are pulling back the curtain on an interview that went completely catastrophically off the rails. We are investigating a moment so fiery, so raw, and so utterly unexpected that it shattered the fun-loving, carefree image of The Tonight Show and left its famously unflappable host utterly speechless. This wasn't a comedy sketch. This wasn't a planned bit for ratings. We have spoken to people who were there, who were in the audience and backstage. They all say the same thing. The fear in the studio was real. This was a raw, unfiltered rage that erupted live on air. And for a few terrifying minutes, nobody knew how it was going to end. The screen shows a blurred-out text message, supposedly from a crew member. The text reads, "I've never seen anything like it." Jimmy was pale. We thought security might have to step in. In this video, we are going to show you what led to the explosion. We will break down the one seemingly innocent question that lit the fuse. We will analyze, second by second, how Jimmy Fallon's attempt at a light-hearted, humanizing joke backfired so spectacularly that it turned his guest from a willing participant into an adversary. And we will pinpoint the shocking moment Donald Trump's famous bravado cracked, replaced by a cold, hard anger that stunned a live studio audience into silence. Stay with us, because you are about to see a side of The Tonight Show, and a side of its host that you have never ever seen before. This is the story of the night the laughter died. And before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. We dig into stories like this every week, stories the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. You won't want to miss what's coming next. The conspiratorial music fades back in low intense. The screen transitions to a new visual style, one that feels more like a documentary investigation. We see file photos of Trump and Fallon from previous friendlier encounters, the infamous hair-mussing incident, them laughing together during a sketch. The images are happy, but the narrator's tone makes them feel ominous, like photos from a time of innocence before a great tragedy. To truly understand the magnitude of what happened on that stage, you have to remember the history. The relationship between Jimmy Fallon and Donald Trump has always been unique. Unlike other late-night hosts who built their brands on sharp political satire, Fallon's approach was different. His comedy was apolitical, observational, and above all, playful. When Trump the candidate appeared on his show, Fallon treated him not as a political figure to be interrogated, but as another celebrity guest to be humanized. He was a toy in the toy box, another famous face to have fun with. The most famous example, of course, was the hair-mussing, a moment that went viral around the world. For Fallon, it was a classic bit-a-silly physical gag, designed to show the lighter side of a powerful man. It was harmless fun, the very essence of his brand. In his mind, he was just a kid asking to touch something famous and strange, like the Liberty Bell or a dinosaur bone in a museum. But for his critics, it was the ultimate softball moment, a normalization of a deeply controversial figure. They accused him of being a court jester, of trading journalistic integrity for a viral clip. The backlash was immense, and it reportedly affected Fallon deeply. He was a man who built his career on being liked, and suddenly, half the country saw him as a coward, a collaborator in the dumbing down of political discourse. This context is crucial, because the next time Donald Trump, now as president, was booked to appear on the show, the stakes were entirely different. The pressure on Fallon was immense. From the network, the pressure was to deliver the massive ratings that Trump always brought. From his own staff and writers, the pressure was to maintain the show's fun, lighthearted identity. But from the public, and perhaps from within himself, there was a new pressure. The pressure to prove he wasn't a pushover. The pressure to ask at least one question that had some weight. He wasn't David Letterman. He wasn't going to grill him on policy or business dealings. That wasn't his style. That wasn't his brand. But he had to do something. He had to show the world, and maybe himself, that he had a backbone. And so, a plan was hatched. A plan to walk a tightrope. A plan to find a question that was personal but not political, edgy but not insulting, a question that would create a memorable human moment without setting off the famously thin-skinned president. It was a delicate, almost impossible calculation. They workshopped it for days, writing and rewriting it, trying to sand down every possible rough edge. They believed they had found the perfect formula, a way to have their cake and eat it too. They thought they had created a question that was both safe and meaningful. They were wrong. They had miscalculated badly. They had failed to understand that for a man like Donald Trump. There is no difference between a personal question and a political one. An inquiry about his character is an attack on his brand. A question about his past is a challenge to his power. They thought they were lighting a candle. They were actually lighting the fuse on a bomb, and the entire world was about to watch it explode. Right in the middle of the friendliest show on television. The stage was set for a clash of worlds. A collision between the man who just wanted everyone to have fun and the man who saw every interaction as a battle to be won. And as the countdown to showtime began, no one in the studio could have possibly imagined how badly it was all about to go. To truly understand how a stage built for laughter became an arena for conflict, you have to go behind the curtain. You have to step into the hours leading up to the taping, into the pressure cooker environment of a modern late-night television show. For The Tonight Show, booking a sitting president, especially one as ratings-magnetic as Donald Trump, is a monumental event. It's a guaranteed ratings goldmine, a surefire way to dominate the news cycle for the next 24 hours. But it's also a high-wire act without a net. The show's producers, writers, and host knew they had to walk an impossibly fine line. One wrong step could lead to a PR disaster, a public feud, or worse, a boring show that pleased no one. Inside the writer's room at 30 Rockefeller Plaza, just a few hours before taping, the mood was unusually tense. The air, usually filled with the sound of frantic typing and bursts of laughter, was thick with a quiet, nervous energy. The large whiteboards, typically a chaotic canvas of disorganized jokes and surreal doodles, were meticulously organized. One board was titled Trump Segment, with 2 columns, SAFI topics and avoid at all costs. The safe column was filled with predictable, easy subjects, the strength of the economy. Upcoming national holidays, generic praise for the military. A light-hearted anecdote about Air Force One, the avoid column was much longer. A sprawling laundry list of political landmines, ongoing controversies, and known personal sensitivities. The plan, championed by the show's executive producers and most of the senior writing staff, was simple. Keep it light, keep it moving, and above all, keep it friendly. The segment was meticulously structured to be a Trump-friendly zone, a safe harbor from his political critics. It would open with a few softball questions about his recent accomplishments, allowing him to deliver his well-worn triumphant talking points to a receptive national audience. Then, the main event, a new silly game involving oversized props and a simple non-political premise. It was designed to create a fun, shareable, viral moment, just like the infamous hair-mussing incident from years before. It was Classic Fallon, a segment built on charm and harmless fun, intended to generate millions of views online. But Jimmy Fallon himself was not entirely on board. He sat at the head of the long conference table, uncharacteristically quiet, tapping a pen on a blank legal pad. The immense, sustained backlash from the hair-mussing incident had left a deep and lasting scar. He had been branded a coward, a sycophant, a man who would trade his dignity for a cheap laugh. He was tired of the criticism. He felt the immense pressure from the public and from his own conscience to do more than just play games. He wanted to ask one question, just one, that had a bit of an edge. He wasn't looking for a fight. He wasn't trying to be David Letterman. He just wanted to prove, to his critics, and more importantly to himself, that he wasn't a complete pushover. He wanted a single moment of substance in a sea of fluff. His head writer, a seasoned veteran of late night who understood the delicate ecosystem of celebrity egos, voiced his concern, his voice low and cautious. Jimmy, you know the rule with him. Don't get personal. Don't touch the brand. Don't question the narrative. He sees any personal question as an attack on his success, on his very identity. We can joke about policy, we can even make a light joke about a tweet, but the man himself is off. It's a third rail. But Fallon was insistent, his voice filled with a quiet, pleading determination that surprised some in the room. It's not an attack, he argued, leaning forward, his hands clasped on the table. It's a human question. It'll be funny. I'm not asking about politics. I'm asking about him, the person. Before all of this, it will show a different side of him, a side people haven't seen. The audience will love it. It will be a real moment, not just another game. The room was divided. The producers saw only risk. Imagining angry phone calls from the network and a public feud with the White House, the writers saw a potential train wreck, a moment that could derail the entire show. But Fallon, as the host and the face of the show, had the final say. He felt this was a necessary risk, a way to reclaim his own narrative and quiet the critics. The team reluctantly agreed, on one condition. The question had to be perfect. It had to be workshopped, polished, and stripped of any possible hint of accusation or judgment. For the next hour, they debated the exact phrasing with the intensity of diplomats drafting a peace treaty. The one edgy question was written and rewritten a dozen times. It was wrapped in layers of compliments and self-deprecating humor. It was designed to be a gentle probe, not a sharp jab. The final version was approved, a carefully constructed sentence that they believed was both meaningful and completely safe. It was a calculated risk, a masterpiece of diplomatic question-asking, designed to give the show a moment of substance without triggering an explosion. They had no idea they were lighting the fuse to a bomb. As Donald Trump sat comfortably in the lavishly appointed green room, exuding confidence and expecting another easy promotional appearance on his favorite friendly talk show, the stage was being set. He believed he was walking into a celebration of his success. He had been assured the segment would be fun, a victory lap in front of millions of adoring fans. He had no idea that a single, carefully crafted question was waiting for him. A question designed to peel back a layer of his public persona. The host thought he was creating a moment of connection. The guest thought he was receiving a tribute. The collision of these two opposing expectations was about to create a moment of pure, unscripted television chaos, leaving everyone, especially the man who just wanted to be friends with everybody, completely and utterly stunned.